Welcome to Interchange TV. I'm your host Ava Smallhall, and here today with me are Tane and Angus, who were the keynote speakers on day one, which was rad.
Awesome.
I'm just saying, like, the feedback we had from you guys was already spectacular. But thank you so much for coming along. But
Thanks
we were
for having
really
us.
oh, thank you. So many thanks. We were really excited about having you guys here to kind of frame things in a really positive manner, because I think sometimes when we look at the world and all the problems that we see, like, it's really hard to not feel really apathetic. Is that kind of how you got into starting Future Crunch, or where did it come from?
Yeah, initially really started thinking about Future Crunch in the terms of climate change. So we realized that the climate change debate is basically fear-mongering. It's based on fear,
Yeah.
which is a lot what the public media does. So what we wanted to do was reframe the issue, and we believe that the only thing that's really going to save us at this point is technology and creating a better paradigm, a better method, and an economically viable one, such as solar. So we had chats about really technology is the underlying thing that's going to bring us out of this, our negative influence on the planet, and make a better world for everyone. And from there, it took off, as we say, exponentially.
As all great ideas do, they start from somewhere, and then all of a sudden you've got this massive machine kind of just powering ahead. Yeah, so the students that are going through this program, they're just getting started now, and really, you know, they're at that really small stage of just starting to look at their ideas. From somebody who's been through it before and is also looking at the future all the time, you know, what do you think's exciting about this program, and what do you think it's like if you were in these guys' shoes? What would you be thinking at this stage?
I think what's really exciting is that the world we graduated into, which was only about 5 or 10 years ago, is already completely different to the world that we're in today. We're seeing this rapid proliferation of technologies in every field from every industry, and those are all sort of crunching together, hence the name.
Yeah.
And that new world, I think there's a lot of fear-mongering about that world. The media says, oh, jobs are going down, unemployment is on the rise. But if you look at it in a different way, you say that's a whole new world of opportunity. And I think what's going to be happening is that in 2025, they're going to be looking back on 2015 going, oh, imagine you could have been there then. There was so much opportunity. I would have gotten into so many different things. And we really want to inspire people and get them excited about that.
Yeah. And so with Future Crunch, you're getting started, things are starting to plow ahead. What's the big picture for you guys at this stage?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
We've been doing public science advocacy for quite some time, just getting the general public really excited about it. We bring tech to, you know, try out for the general public, make it exciting, make it humorous, get people involved.
Yeah, science is cool.
Yeah, totally.
And you get to wear Spider-Man shirts at talks and meet great people, but you also you get to, science really can make a big difference. And unfortunately, you know, in Australia, science isn't treated so well.
Yeah.
And we want to get the public excited about it, so they say, come on, invest in this stuff. Let's make it happen.
So it was a lot of a conversation basically around the future is dominated by old white guys.
Yeah.
We kind of didn't like that paradigm. They all know this stuff and they're talking to themselves about it. So why not open the audience? It's really exciting. And it's also great to follow for your career.
Yeah. And what I love about what you guys are doing is that it's different, right? I think, you know, we talked a lot about creativity today on day one, and I think people define creativity really narrowly. And what I love is that you're bringing creativity and play into science and technology. And so for these students who are from lots of different faculties, you know, how important is it that they really tap into that creative, playful side of themselves in order to solve big world problems?
Yeah, well, I think the old models are breaking down.
Yeah.
The idea that you are an artist or you are a scientist, that just doesn't really work anymore, because the really cool stuff happens right at the intersection of art and science. And I think that applies across different fields.
Yeah.
And we just want to do that. And why not? Why can't we play and be creative and have fun while still being rational, critical, intelligent, and yet positive, interactive, and, you know, rather than being objective, be subjective? I don't know. Why not? Might as well try it.
And the way you broaden your mind is to play.
Yeah.
So it drives me crazy. In science, they don't teach you about creativity. But the majority of science is serendipitous. It's about playing and being creative and casting your net wider and then often in the opposite direction that everyone else is heading. And I think it's a really important part of progressing our
Nice.
That's why we
humanity.
loved what you guys did. This was a really playful, super cool experience.
Very interactive, yeah.
Awesome. Well, like, just to kind of tie up, you know, this is probably one of the first times a lot of these students have been getting to grips with play and games, and they might be finding it a little bit difficult to kind of associate, you know, all this fun and games with serious things. What tips would you have for these guys to kind of move beyond that kind of initial trepidation they might be feeling at this stage?
I think certainly in my career, in my academic career and in my business career, the biggest breakthroughs for me have come when my brain is not engaged directly with the problem. And so I think the process of play, not only does it allow you to engage creative aspects of your brain that you might not train in your normal career, but it also means that your brain gets a break, and then those big breakthroughs come through. If you think about the eureka moments, Archimedes was in a bath, or you know, the eureka moments happen when someone is on the playing field or going for a run or a walk in the woods. And I guess as the students do this and they're playing, they're going to come across a lot more eureka moments than if they're head down in the book studying something.
Yeah.
We started Future Crunch on a bike ride.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, that pretty much sums it up for me. So it's like, get comfortable with your creativity, just take a few risks and just roll with the process. Just, be bold, be brave, and just because you haven't done it before doesn't mean it's not rad. I'm Ava Smallhall. This was Interchange TV. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You!